Welcome back to Sapporo, Japan. Sapporo is the capital and largest city of the northern island of Hokkaido. And these are some of the citizens, some of them the indigenous Ainu people. And a lot of them making their way to the Tsukisamu Arena to see the 2015 ZEN-NOH World Women's Curling Championship. Our featured game this morning, session 12, Denmark up against Japan. Denmark on 2 wins and 5 losses. And Japan still in the hunt for the playoffs on 4 wins and 3 losses. Quite a nice little crowd forming this morning. Everyone in to support the hometown favourites. The entire Japanese team live and train here in Sapporo. Up against a slightly out of sorts Danish team. Not playing at their best so far this week, but let's meet them. Lead, Charlotte Clemenson. Second, Stephanie Riesdahl. Third player, Shanna Ellegard. And of course the skip, Lena Nielsen. Alternate, Isabella Clemenson. And coach Ulrich Schmidt. And the Japanese team led by Anna Omiya. Second, Kao Onodera. Third player, Sayaka Yoshimura. And of course, the face of Japanese curling, Ayumi Ogasawara. The alternate, Rina Ida, and the coach is Fujimiki. And this is how they stack up. Canada and Switzerland on 6 and 1 there, leading the way, and Russia hot on their heels. China, Germany, Japan all on 4 wins, along with Scotland and Sweden. They're all bunching right up for those last playoff spaces. And I think you can just about discount Denmark, Finland, United States and Norway from the hunt for the playoffs. My name is Logan Grain alongside me, Kenny Edwards, bringing you live commentary this morning. Elsewhere on the ice, Sweden up against Finland, Scotland against Russia, and Canada against Norway. Well, there is Lena Nielsen, the Danish skip, of course, skipped the Danish team in the Olympic Winter Games in Sochi this time last year. Lena's never managed to chalk up a medal at the World Women's, getting as close as 4th in 2011. Okay, so Charlotte Clemenson getting the game underway here. Of course, the two teams do draw for last on advantage in the first end. 1 in turn, 1 out turn. And Japan secured the last stone. Charlotte, the 22-year-old from Copenhagen, student.
Det er godt spillet, Lotte. Der er for meget is.
And they go into the house. Don't manage to get it quite in the right spot on the center line. And here we have Anna Omiya throwing the corner guard. So Kenny, Japan off to a flying start, but starting to come off the rails a little bit in the last couple of games.
Yeah, certainly they have capitalised on a few mistakes from the opposing teams. They've had a lot of support here, and they're maybe just beginning to feel the pressure after picking up the wins early this week, and with the playoffs beckoning, maybe just a little nerve just creeping into their game. Denmark really just not been at the races this week.
Linjen er rigtig, rigtig god. Hvis I kan, finish it. Oj, den stopper. Det gør spil, Lotte.
So, a couple of stones in play. Got two sort of corner guards. It's probably going to benefit Japan with the corner guards rather than center guards. Denmark just coming off a win against Germany, so they should take confidence into this game.
Well, nice tap back there by Anna Omiya. Takes the danger away from the button.
Yeah, Denmark did lose to Canada though last night.
Here's Stephanie Riesdahl. A 23-year-old student as well. Made her first senior appearance for Denmark in Champéry in Switzerland for the European Championships in December 2014. This is Kaho Onodera. Watch out for Kaho's big weight ability. Made some terrific takeouts so far this week. So just a reminder of the rules of play. 6 ends minimum for the round robin. 38 minutes of thinking time for each of the teams to complete their 10 ends worth of stones. And of course, both teams entitled to 1 60-second timeout. And they can call that at any stage during the game.
Yeah, Denmark electing to come around these guards. This one just not curling enough. And will be wide open. Do sit 2 though.
Well, this stone at the front of the house is very much blocking the way in to score for Japan, so they're going to remove that now. And it would be good if they could stick around. Jams it on the back one, and Denmark lying 2.
Yeah, no real great threat though. It's only in the 12 foot, and Japan with that last stone advantage. So if Denmark do get one round. I don't think they're going to be too worried.
Here's Shanna Ellegard, the only other remaining player from the Olympic lineup in Sochi, alongside Lena, of course. Denmark finishing 6th at the Winter Olympics, 1 place behind Japan, who finished 5th. Here's Sayaka Yoshimura, gone a little bit off the boil in the last couple of games. The 23-year-old. Certainly saw a lot of mistakes from her in the game against the United States yesterday morning. Of course, Japan did manage to come through that one safely. Oh, no, sorry, they didn't. They lost that one. And that's kind of started their downfall this week. Looking so good for the playoffs on 4-1. But a bad day yesterday at the office. Kaho Onodera and Sayaka Yoshimura both playing in their first World Championship.
Yeah, it'll be a steep learning curve for the young Japanese players. So Denmark failing to get around, but it's really difficult now for Japan to get round in there because there's a corner guard that you can't see. So that's why they're probably going to have to play the tap up. There you see the corner guard on the left. There's no real draw in.
Yeah, Japan are going to need to be a little bit careful here. There's a lot of clutter on the center line.
So have they done enough to push this yellow in? I think they have, but they've pushed it to the gap. So Denmark with a chance to nose hit to set 4. Japan have got to watch what they're doing.
Nej, jeg vil ikke gerne spille 10 her igen, for hvis den kører lidt lige. Jeg har rigtig lyst til at sætte den dernede i.
I think we will see them remove that yellow stone. They're only lying one at the back of the rings there. So just looking for a nose hit, I would suggest. Don't want to roll too far and open up a draw option for Japan.
So Lennon Nielsen. Curling for 17 years. Played at so many European and World Championships. Makes a nice nose hit. But I'd like to tuck that one in a little bit more. Do set 4.
I think they found a pretty good spot though. They're going to have to, the Japanese are going to have to move that stone. There's no opportunity to play a draw or even make a tap up to get a shot stone in there. So they're going to have to try and clear the way a little bit. Force an entry.
Ayumi Ogasawara for Japan. This is a real big stone here in the first end. Not the kind of shot you want to play with your first stone of a game.
Ayumi played in 3 Olympic Winter Games, 5th being her best result in 2014, and she was also Team Japan's flag bearer at the Olympic Winter Games. So clearly a very experienced athlete and a role model for other Japanese athletes. I'm sure that was a real thrill for Ayumi to get that opportunity to be recognized in that way.
Kortere også godt. Altså hullet, der gør det så stort ud her, men stenene ligger lidt.
Ja, det er ikke så nemt at spille.
Nej.
Ja,
Så I skal lige vente lidt,
ja.
hvis I kan.
Ja.
Rimelig normalt spor, eller?
Ja.
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 Yeah, so that Yellowstone rolled in behind the guard, so Lennon Nielsen will just swing one round as we've got the timer on this one.
They're looking for something like 14.5 to 15 seconds.
Oh, sneaks past, that's a great shot. So the well set 3, maybe slipped to maybe a foot or two too far.
Yeah, certainly no gimme though here for Ogasawara. It's a tough port to come through. See that yellow just at the bottom of the screen there. It very much blocks the way into the button, certainly the natural line. So may have to go quite close to the centre guards here and even bounce off that red on the button to get in shot position. And here it is, the final stone of the first end. And this a tricky one. Denmark could be lying as many as 3, certainly 2. Don't want to give up a big steal here in the first after when you're coming off the back of 2 losses.
Yeah, line looks pretty good, so all about the weight. Oh, great shot to finish the first end. Japan take their single point.
Yeah, an absolute pistol there from Ayumi Ogasawara. Great sweeping from Omiya and Onodera. And they get out of jail there. Japan putting 1 on the board in the first end, and it's Japan 1, Denmark 0. It was a terrific draw to finish that first end. Quite a messy first end, lots of stones in play. And Japan could have easily given up a steal there if it hadn't been for that super draw from Nagasawara. Kenny, we're seeing Japan playing much more aggressively than they were at the start of the week, in my mind. Do you think it's maybe what's their downfall at the moment? They're starting to play a game that they're not particularly comfortable with?
Yes, possibly. Beginning of the week, they were waiting on teams making mistakes rather than really pushing forward for a win. They were keeping it nice and clean, not really having too many stones lying around. Whereas now they're trying to mix things up and they're becoming a little bit unstuck. The middle order just not quite good enough at this level at the moment to really compete with the other teams.
Whoa, up.
Well, here we are over on sheet B, Scotland against Russia. First end, and here's Anna Sidorova. Very distinctive delivery of Anna Sidorova. Really a must-win for Scotland. Don't want to let the pack get away from them. And Russia, a couple of losses in their last 3 games. So they'll be looking to bounce back as well. And that's a lovely start. A nice draw there from Anna Sidorova down into the 4-foot. And put 2 yellow on the board for Russia. It's Russia 2, Scotland 0. So a couple of Japanese yellow stones on the center line. And Denmark with the last one choosing to try and come around.
Så langt vi kører. Så langt den kører. Wow.
Yeah, it's quite a slack shot that from Denmark. So Japan, they'll try and come around the guards that are on the center line. Onodera, it's probably been a lot better at our takeouts than playing the draws.
There's the Japanese coach, Fuji Miki, up there alongside national coach J.D. Lind. And alternate Rina Ida. Well, after that mistake from Charlotte Clemenson, they're going to start trying to tidy this up a little bit and move some of these guards out of the road. Well, not a great result there. And I'm sure Ulrich Schmidt senses a little bit of danger here. A couple of yellows starting to kick around the house, and there's a centre guard for them to come around as well. Ulrich Schmidt, tremendously experienced guy to have to bring on board for this young Danish team.
Have they done enough to get past? I don't think they have. Oh, they do. Great scrub from the front end, get that one round.
Well, there is a chance here for Riesdahl, quite a big pocket to run it into as we get another look at this. Big scrub from the Japanese. Would have just liked to maybe get it a little bit further in there, but still a good effort. Meanwhile, Riesdahl hits on the wrong side of the guard, and Denmark in some trouble at the moment.
Yeah, we've seen Japan struggling in the first end, but it's Denmark who are struggling here in the second.
Yeah, absolutely, Kenny. That's one of the great things about curling is that you can play one bad end, but once that end's over, then you get a clean slate to start again the next one, and Japan really making the most of that at the moment. Over on sheet D, Canada 6-1, playing Norway 0-7. Here's Kristin Skaslian throwing the last stones for Norway. And needs to find a nice draw here to put one on the board. And nicely looked after by the sweepers. Bounces off the red onto the button. A super draw there and a super start for Norway. It's Norway 1, Canada 0.
Yeah, so Denmark trying to run the guard back. Don't really manage it, but do leave a centre guard. And that's really not what they were after. Does open up the yellows though. There is a lot of separation between the yellows, so there's no real easy double there.
Oh, another nice guard here from Japan. Puts it in pretty much a perfect spot.
Yeah, it's really awkward now for Denmark to play any sort of double and use their shooting stone. So all it might be left is just swing one right round into the forefoot. They're electing to tidy things up.
There's Shanna Ellegard. Did play second last season in this team, moved up to third.
Yeah, replaced Ella Simonsen. And I think so far this week they're missing the long-time third for Lena Nielsen.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a bit of a fresh start for this team. They've brought in two young, inexperienced players. They're going to try and train them up a little bit. And it is a 4-year cycle generally the teams plan for as they try and make the next Olympic Games.
Ogasawara playing that draw that I feel Denmark probably should have played. Swing on round to the back of the fort. And not a great shot by Skip.
Oh, we sort of struggled with the draws a little bit yesterday as well. We put it down to bad stones, but not even close on that one. Still not that easy for Japan to get one in there.
Yeah, I think you've got to make a play on that yellow and roll in behind the guards just to maybe back ring hack weight. I think that's what they're going to go for. And both teams do get a practice before the game begins, so they do have a rough idea of how much this is going to move.
Der er ikke modplads, Steff. Okay. Vil du sætte farten ned? 11,5. Hvor langt er der op til garden? Garden ligger 1 meters penge ude. Vi bliver nødt til at give den chancen for at komme derind.
Well, she is going for that in-turn takeout that you nominated, Kenny. She would love to just get a check underneath the guards here. Needs to get by, though.
Oh, really, really nice.
Yeah, perfect shot there by Lena Nielsen. And let's take another look at it. Sweeping from Clemenson and Ellegard. Gets it in a good spot there. Doesn't quite push the yellow out of the rings, but didn't need to. Just need to get a good shooter in there. And look at these 4 stones near the center line, all lined up and staggered slightly for Ayumi Ogasawara just to come around and try and get one onto the edge of the button for shot position. She's now looking at just whether she can remove that red stone. Over on sheet D, Canada and Norway, we saw Kristin Skaslien throwing the edge of the button to score 1. And I think this is Jennifer Jones just paint for 2. And this one looks pretty comfortable. And it's a score of 2. And after 2 ends, Canada moving into a lead over Norway. It's 2-1 there. So they changed the call here, and they're just going to try and pick this red out, just try and squeeze through the port here. Great shot.
Real nice call. There's a lot of risk with that one. They catch it too thin, you could stick it on the back. Yellow.
It looked like a really solid delivery and a good clean release at the hog line there. Green light's on. And a green light for the result as well. A super shot there. I'm sure they looked at whether the stone would stick on that back yellow, but I think your saving grace was they always knew they'd be lying at the top of the 8 foot anyway, even if they did manage to do that. So it's a tough draw here. Lynn Nilsson needing to be a little bit better than 8 foot to score in the second end and tie the game up.
Yeah, sweeper's backing off this one.
God retning. Super retning.
But absolutely perfect.
Lækkert, Lene.
On to the forefoot to tie the game at 1-1 after 2 ends.
Det tror jeg, vi alle sammen lige skal have et øjeblik. Der bliver bundet lidt meget nu her. Hun er god til sin indlæg.
You're watching live coverage of the 2015 World Women's Curling Championship, sponsored by ZEN-NOH. And our featured game here is Denmark and Japan inside the Tsukisamu Gymnasium. My name is Logan Gray, and alongside me, Kenny Edwards, talking you through the game. And it certainly looks like it's going to be a tight affair, this one, Kenny.
Yeah, I think so. Both teams applying a bit of pressure early on. Denmark really having a good first end, and Japan really having a good second end, but both skips playing nice draws to bail their team out. And the game all tied. I've got to think it's maybe Japan that have started the game ever so slightly better than Denmark.
Yeah, you may be right, Kenny, but I think if it was a match play situation, it would probably be all square with Denmark taking the first end and Japan taking the second. Both teams managing to force their opposition to make difficult shots to score one.
Rigtig fint, Lotte.
So Charlotte Clemenson.
Rigtig lækker retning.
So just looking for a kind of
Ikke endnu,
a tight guard.
Ikke endnu, Ginny.
Super's not having too much work to do. This actually travels down into the rings, and should be a good opportunity for Japan to start trying to bring that corner guard into play.
Yeah, I think Japan might just ignore this red and come around the corner.
Certainly would have been an option. Here's Anna Umeya. Just going to try and punch this stone at the top of the forefoot through. Just about gets the back one, but it does stick around that red stone at the back of the rings. Meanwhile, on sheet A, Sweden and Finland. So we've got Bit of a team change. And it's Heidi Hossi throwing the last stones for Finland. Sanna Pustinen not on the ice this morning, so it's a bad miss though. Drawing the house for 3 and throws it through the back. Only 2, but still Finland moving into a 2-1 lead over Sweden. Yeah, Moja Salmio-Virta on the ice for Finland today, replacing Sanna Pustinen. We'll try and find out what's up with Sanna, whether it's just a team change for playing reasons or whether she just ate a little bit too much wasabi last night. Oh, nice come around the guard there. Here's Scotland-Russia on sheet B. Doesn't look like a straightforward shot here for Eve. Facing 3 yellow Russian counters all around the forefoot. A must make.
Yeah, Scotland really not at the races this morning. Eve Muirhead being left with difficult shots in the first and here in the second.
Oh, is it going to rear up in time? They're standing back. Just stops dead on the button. A lovely draw there by Eve Muirhead, keeping Scotland's hopes alive, even at an early stage in the game. And it's Russia 2, Scotland 1.
So Onodera trying to play the hit and stay. It just leaves a nice pocket for Denmark. I don't think they'll play the hit in this one. They'll just probably throw something in on top. Well, I can't see enough of that yellow to play the double.
Well, you normally associate second players with being strong takeout players. Shanna Ellegard did play second for the last Olympic cycle for this team. Just makes the hit and stick. Wasn't really that much weight to go after the double. Now, if Japan could ever make this hit and roll over on top of that Yellowstone, that would really put them in good shape here in this third end. Yoshimura not entirely happy with that pullback, so just giving it another scrub and starting again.
Even a roll anywhere away is pretty good. Yeah, that's a real nice shot. Gets good separation between the yellows and pretty much forces Denmark to play the nose hit. Yes, it does push the yellow through, but leaves a big nest at the back of the 12-foot.
Ja. Man kan ikke rigtig se, når man slipper den. Hvad vej den? Nej. Jeg arbejder lidt med.
Oh, another look at the sweeping of Clemenson and Riesdahl. Kenny, Denmark maybe not quite the strongest sweeping team in the competition. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think so. They're fairly weak in terms of their sweeping ability, their ability to maybe drag stones in. You just need to look at the way their stance next to the stone. Velocity isn't great either. You know, it's a big part of the game nowadays. These guys are out there for 2.5, 3 hours, spend a lot of time in the gym. I'm not really sure how much time the Danish guys spend in the gym.
Yeah, and it's such a big advantage, isn't it, to be strong sweepers, or to have strong sweepers.
Yeah, it allows you to just that little bit more room for error.
So a nice draw there from Japan, splits the rings. Japan, on the other hand, are quite a strong sweeping team, I would say, and do a good job of positioning that yellow stone.
So they do make a takeout, but again, doesn't really do anything to help the cause. So Japan just going to try and split the house.
Well, same shot again here, and Ayumi not really been too successful on the draws, so generally erring on the light side. Just need to make sure she gets this one right down onto the tee line and in the 8 foot. Well, perfect shot. And Higasawara finds her draw weight.
Tighten isen lidt ind. Ja, den var 9, men jeg tror, vi holder den, fordi den vil lige have set komme. Ja. Det er bare vigtigt, Lotte, at du prøver at se, om du kan få den til at rykke sig så meget som muligt. Ja. Så hun skal få den ud over det dernede. Yes.
Over on sheet D, here's Kristin Skazlian again. Delivering her final stone of the third end, trailing by 2 shots to 1. And just trying to make a hit and stick for 1, facing 2 Canadian counters. Well played by Skadlian. Puts another one on the board for Norway. And they're managing to keep things tight against the Olympic champions. 2 apiece there.
Yeah, so this is a fairly straightforward draw to the 8 foot to pick up 2 for Ogasawara in Japan. Does have a little bit of backing at the 12 foot as well. And gets the desired result.
Yeah, nicely worked end there by Japan. Made good use of the corner guard and got the mistake. And split the rings nicely all end. Draw for 2. 3 ends played here. It's Japan 3, Denmark 1. Well, that's the hand of Anna Omiya, throwing the #1 stone for Japan. Sometimes you do see the teams kind of mix up the order of the stones. Try and get them in the best order to make the most amount of shots. I think we'll see Japan going to the top of the 4 foot. They know that Denmark will want to use the free guard zone and try and get a deuce back on the board to even things up.
Wow, så. Ikke endnu. Så. I skal lige lade den arbejde, Ginny. Okay,
So Charlotte Clemenson for Denmark will try and get some corner guard action going here in the 4th.
Anna Omiya playing 82% for the tournament. That'll be around middle of the pack for the leads here this week. The likes of Don McEwen shooting around 88%.
Well, would have liked that a little tighter.
Yeah, I think they would prefer have that on the centre line side of the stone than on the outside. So Denmark can maybe make a play on that shot stone and try and roll towards their corner guard. Corner guard a little bit too close to the centre line as well for Denmark's liking. Clemenson playing 81% for the tournament. As a lead, you're really looking for the numbers to be over 85. Leads do generally have the easiest of the shots to be played. So you would expect them to have a higher number. Well, just over curls a fraction, but quite a nice result. Chips the centre guard over and rolls in behind the cover. Potentially even a better result than the nominated one. Well, Japan with their 2-shot lead aren't going to let up quite yet. They're going to continue to play aggressively and put a centre guard on here. Onodera playing 75% for the tournament.
Yeah, these long guards probably in Denmark's favour right now. Stephanie Riisdahl, 70%. This one needs to move a long way.
Well, it's been a bit of a struggle this week for Stephanie, and her woes continue. Just hairs that wide guard and wriggles between the two stones in the house. And now Japan really have a great chance to block it up. Just be looking for a guard just in the middle of that gap between the two yellows.
This one, just trying to block the gap. A real nice shot. I think the one that's actually causing the trouble is that one on the center line, that yellow. So probably going to drive that back.
Well, Lena Nielsen agrees with you, Kenny. Very astute tactically, Lena. And just going to try and ram that yellow at the top of the screen down onto the stone just played by Japan. A lot of silence, and it just hits right on the nose. So a bit of a disastrous end for Stephanie Riisdahl.
Yeah, really needed to be on the high side of that one. Anywhere on the high side, you were going to open up at least one side of the forefoot. So not a good fourth end for Stephanie Riisdahl.
Yoshimura playing a little bit better than Riisdahl so far this week, 74%.
Yeah, so Japan looking fairly strong here in this fourth. Just a wall of stones covering that yellow in the forefoot.
It's just a bit of a horrible situation here for Denmark. Just so many guards out there, it's difficult to know what ones to peel.
Sejl 2 centergarder. Aldrig.
Well, could do with getting a couple off here. Stuffs it again. And this is getting really messy here for Denmark.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at the weight these guys throw at peels. They don't seem to have the ability to throw the up-weight takeout. And it really is great to have that in your armor if you can throw a real good, hard, heavy peel.
Well, I think Japan know they don't need any more guards at the moment. They're maybe trying to work out how they can improve their situation in the house to maybe set up a multiple steal.
And they might be able to come around right round outside on the right-hand side to the edge of the 4, or come down and push the red through. But if you do push the red through and sit out, you might leave a double. So I think you're maybe safer just coming right round the outside of the yellow.
Well, I think they're just going to continue to pile the guards up at the moment.
And that yellow stone that's sitting top of the 4-foot was the first stone played of the end as well. It just shows how key and important the lead's first stone of the end is.
Minna Nielsen doesn't look like she's particularly enjoying herself out there at the moment. I'm sure she's not particularly enjoying this end anyway.
So throwing another one up there. And if you're Denmark, how do you even get close to that yellow? All you've got really is to run something in. Probably run the long corner guard in, hope you stick it in the nose.
Well, that would certainly turn the end around, but if you do start hitting these corner guards, and then it does open up the path for Japan to start drawing in.
Hvis vi kan få fat på den der, så den kommer herover i, vil det være rigtig godt. Det er næsten på næsen.
Yeah, I think I'd be driving the red off rather than the yellow. If you take the red off and drive it in, you might be left the edge of the button to draw for your 2. Your single point, sorry.
Shanna Ellegard only playing 71% for the week. I think you're right, Kenny. I think you could drive in the corner guard to try and remove the stone off the 4-foot. But the other thing it does is it opens up the path in, and even though Japan have that option first, I think that's your best way to score here in this 4th end. So there's a whole lot of red stones in here. Here's Maria Prutz, trailing by 2 shots to 1 against Finland. And how's this one look? Well, before that shot, I think there was 7 reds in there. Doesn't manage to get an elusive 8, but still puts 6 on the board. And Maria Prutz and her teammates clearly over the moon. Sweden, straight off the back of 3 consecutive wins, looking like they're going to take a 4th one in a row. And they lead Finland by 7 shots to 2. Ogasawara, 67% for the tournament. Another good guard goes up. It's really a bit of a dream as a skip just to be able to throw guards all day. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, but while they are doing battle, Canada and Norway are all tied at 2-2. And we're going to look at Jennifer Jones' final stone. Looks like a tap back around the corner for maybe 2. Have they got it past the corner? Shave past the corner, but this one's going to over curl. Faces their own red, and it's going to be a steal of 1.
Yeah, maybe trying to be a little bit greedy there. And going for the 2 and not missing on the professional side, making sure you score. So after 4 ends, it's Norway 3, Canada 2. Luna Nielsen, only 70% for the week. Going for the angled raise here. Must be close.
Oh, great shot from the skip to bail her team out of trouble.
Well, if you're going to be critical, again, he'd have just rolled it into the open and left Japan a hit and roll in. But the way this end's been going, I think Denmark will be over the moon to be lying to at this stage.
Yeah, here you see again, just driving that corner guard in right onto the yellow in the forefoot. So Ogasawara just hitting and trying to roll into the forefoot. This one's sitting a little high at the moment. And don't think they've managed to get right in behind. Maybe just we'll leave half a shot for Denmark to get out of this. But there you see it, that's fully buried in behind, so they may be able to come down at sort of back ring weight and just push it through for 2. So Lena Nielsen with a back ring weight. This one's looking pretty high for line. And it's just going to click the edge of it. And it's going to be a big steal here in the 4th end. Japan really dominant in this 4th end.
Well, that steal of 1 takes Japan to a 4-1 lead. 4 ends played here. Denmark with a lot of work to do.
So fifth end, Japan really beginning to stretch their advantage now, leading 4-1. Throwing up the tight center guard. It's good to see them mixing this up. Not really running for home yet. Still a long way to go. You'd probably see most teams throw that one into the top of the four rather than the tight guard.
Well, Denmark going to turn down the opportunity to come around in favour of throwing the corner.
Bare kom, yep. Yep. Godt farve. Fin, Lotte. Godt, Lotte. Let's see.
A good corner guard there, and now Japan will play around the centre. JD and Fuji have spotted something of interest in the stands. They'll be feeling pretty content with this start to the game. Well, it doesn't manage to make the come around.
Yeah, Japan have got to watch they don't get lured into a scrappy end where they can give up a silly 2 or 3. Yeah, the ice conditions there, you can see the frost on the right-hand side of the sheet. So, but the ice conditions have been pretty good this week.
We did have one draw where it got a little bit frosty out there, and the ice got really slow. So.
Yep. Træk. Fin, Lotte.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a challenge for Hans Ruchik and his team to really control the ice conditions out there. There's no insulation in the roof here, so the temperature in the arena can vary as much as 18 degrees during the day. So generally, as an ice maker, you're looking for nice consistent conditions so you can replicate the ice conditions draw on draw, but when you've got that sort of a challenge, it's really difficult to manage that.
Wow! Den skal med.
Yeah, so Japan really dictating this game.
Well,
Again, a chance to get around the centre guard. There's no real advantage of pulling these guards off, so there's a double corner, double centre, so they've really got to run with this end.
Yeah, absolutely. The setup play wasn't quite correct from the lead, so they do need to be able to adapt. And I quite like what they're doing, the Japanese, in the moment. Too often you see teams in this position with the last stone, they'll go in super defensive and start just peeling the guards and give up a soft two, and all of a sudden it's a one-shot game again. So I like that they're continuing to apply pressure to Denmark at the moment.
So this one just catches the guard. So also a little heavy, just right to the back ring. So I think it probably just come down to the face of the yellow that's just on the open side, maybe, or even throw the guard. But the problem is, you throw the guard, the two yellows are lined up. You should be able to make the double on that yellow that's in the 8 foot.
Yeah, Kenny, I think they need to get a little bit closer to the centre line. They certainly need to be on the centre line side of the shot stone to try and take that angle away to remove all the stones on the centre line.
So just threw this one a little high, so trying to sweep it past. So the two yellows wide open.
Rick Schmidt keeping an eye on things, overlooking the sheet.
He himself played in many world and European championships. So it does remove two of the yellows from play. It leaves that one in the 4 foot.
Well, good look at that sweeping prowess of Omiya, and Onodera drags it right over to the centre line. Lesser sweepers with the left eye Yellowstone wide open, but really maximising the curl to get it in the perfect spot. And all the Danes can do is start to try and open this up again. Going for the run back, just misses and stuffs it on the back one. So Japan just have to throw a guard really. Now lying 3.
Yeah, Japan, everything going their way at the moment.
ウェイトもあっていいでしょ。ないと乗らないかも。そこのライン。近くてもいいんだ。3つ。オッケー。滑ってやるんだよ。
いいよー、3、ちょっと中じゃない？中っぽいね。中っぽいよね。ちょっと長いそうだな。
ラインはいいよ。
2本。イエス。
おおおおおおお。
3、
クリーンだけ。
曲がりそう、曲がりそう。
クリーンだけ。
2半3。いいよいいよいいよいいよ。曲がりそう
クリーンだけ。おおおお。あん。ごめんなさい。
Does overcurl a little bit, and perhaps Lena Nielsen off the hook a bit as well. She can just come round at quiet weight, push that yellow through. And the key will be to try and keep the shooter as close to that center guard as possible.
Yeah, I should be able to squeeze past the top yellow. Don't want to play big weight at this really though.
Squeeze mindre.
I wouldn't be too worried if they leave a couple of yellows on the back right.
Så 4 fod bliver
You
fri.
can see
Ikke?
most of this Yellowstone.
Når det hvis den ruller meget, så er du klar.
It's a really key shot for Lena Nielsen. Can't really afford to give up any more here in the fifth. Standing back off this one. So bump that one to the back ring. The only saver is it's opened up the whole side. But if Japan could ever make a nice hit and flop in, again, it's going to look really difficult for Denmark to score their single point.
Yeah, definitely an improvement to the situation, though. The scoring area is that bigger for Denmark now, and they do need a score here in this fifth end just to steady the ship a little bit. But it really has been one-way traffic here in this first half.
So electing to take it the other way to stop the jam on the back yellows. So although Japan's sitting 3, no real danger, you've got to expect that Lena Nielsen can draw the 8-foot for a single.
Den burde altså ikke køle så sindssygt. Men I må gerne lige være klar, for det kan godt være, at den kommer ud i balladen derude.
So final stone of the fifth end, Lena Nielsen looking for the 8-foot.
Retning er god!
Lovely draw. Nicely done by Lena Nielsen. And narrows the gap to 2, but it's all Japan so far. And after 5 ends, it's Japan 4, Denmark 2.
Third end of Denmark versus Japan. And this is Ayumi Ogasawara trying to draw for 2. Super Skeptic clean, and they took the lead. Fourth end, Lena Nielsen in all sorts of trouble, having to play a hack weight around the yellow guard. But this one, always high for line, clicks past the yellow and rolls out of play, and a steal of 1 for Japan. Fifth end, and Japan dominating the play, and forcing Lena Nielsen to draw for the single point. This one never in doubt. So, fifth end, Japan 4, Denmark 2. Canada versus Norway. Norway leading by 1, 3-2 up, but skip Jen Jones has a split for 6 in this fifth end. Just needing to get a piece of this one, short of the rings. Just misses it, but they do pick up 5 and storm into a 7-3 lead into the break. Sweden also chasing down a playoff spot. They're up against Finland. Heidi Hosey throwing last bulls for Finland this morning. They are trailing 8-2 at this moment. And Heidi Hosey makes no mistake with this draw. But they trail by 4. 8-4 the score after 5. The other game that's going on is between Scotland and Russia. Scotland 6-3 ahead, turning things around after trailing by 2.
Pull up.
So there's the stats. Denmark being well outplayed by Japan. Only 54% for the team. And it's really the hits that's the big difference. Denmark way down at 45, Japan up at 80. So if you've just joined us, you're watching live coverage of the ZEN-NOH World Women's Curling Championships 2015 from the Suami Gymnasium, Sapporo, Japan.
Never.
Japan leading 4-2 over Denmark. Denmark really struggling to get anything right in this game.
Lad nu være. Så sæt dig dog. Sæt. Kan jeg lade det?
Yeah, it's a double centre for Denmark. They're really trying to go all out for a steal here in the 6th end. Need to do something differently.
So Naomi playing 86% for the game, 82 for the week.
Well, we want to take that one again. That's not a great shot.
No, certainly not. Kenny, not the professional side to miss when you've got 2-shot lead and you have the last stone. You don't want to clog up that centre line. That's how you end up conceding steals. Well, Stephanie Riesdahl having an absolute horror show here in this game, only playing 28%.
Okay, Dini, bare træk den ind i mærket. Ja. Nej, men du bliver nødt til at trække den ind af.
Yeah, I'm not sure I think I've ever seen such a low start at the World Championships.
Makes a lovely draw there, though. Onodera, 75 for the tournament, 70 for the game. Well, overswept that one. It does improve the situation. Spins another yellow into the scoring area. Let's have another look. They pummeled that all the way down and just hits an inch too high to make them all go away, and some nice footwork there by Omiya to get over those stones. Takes a hop, skip and a jump to get in there and sweep that one down there.
Yeah, so Denmark just trying to clog up this centre line.
Well, they do cover the shot stone. There's an opportunity here for Gasawara to peel the red across the face of the yellow and drive it onto the shot stone. I think that would be quite a good option, but Gasawara looking at a different one and possibly sending the red towards the red corner guard. The worry would be here that if you ever hit it too thin, then you end up spinning it back towards the centre line and could actually end up almost frozen on that shot stone. So I'm not in love with this call. Certainly don't want to hit it too thin. That actually didn't work out too badly.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
That was a dangerous, dangerous call.
Wow! Halvanden! Wow, Lotte! Den er kort! Det er meget fint! retning på den.
Hellagard, 50% for the game.
Ja. Der skal trækkes til nu, tøser. Skifte. Så bare giv den gas. Hårdt, det er vigtigt. Hårdt!
Yeah, so that didn't really cover the red in the 4. I think Japan will be able just to come through the port between the two guards.
Yoshimura, 70 for the game, 74 for the tournament. You would generally expect the Japanese stats to come up here in the second half. They're going to be playing a lot of peels, open takeouts. So it should be a kind of a low level of difficulty of shot. And that's a really good hit and roll by Yoshimura. Squeezes one between the two red guards and rolls away from the center.
Jeg tror næsten det er nemmest at lave den.
Okay.
Well, takeout called here.
Hele vejen på retningen. Hele vejen på retningen.
Well, not much of a takeout. This is way, way light.
Whoa.
Yeah. The quietest shot in curling, the fresh air shot.
Yeah, you're quite familiar with that, Logan, aren't you?
No, when you're around, Kenny.
ヘリ本当に結構難しいここでもいいよそうだね
Vi er 2 sten tilbage.
Det er på
Du har reddet før, så... Ja. Jeg tror, du kommer der. Jeg tror, jeg skulle ikke
5でもいいと思う
Nå, målet må være -2.
こう振るとちょっとかかるぐらいが多分ベスト X してほしい感じ
Well, Japan lying 3 now and coming around again. Still 3 Japanese stones to come in this end. Just the 2 for Denmark.
Yeah, Japan could really put the game to bed if they scored a big end here.
Well, that was a big mistake there by Agasawara and really gifts this chance to Lena Nielsen to try and draw one around here. Sorry, that was Yoshimura with the mistake.
Yeah, it's a big, big error on Japan's part. They had a chance to really apply some serious pressure.
Absolutely, Kenny, and that's the second time they've done that at this end. They've been trying to come around the centre and they've left a guard. If you are going to do that and you've got the last stone advantage, then you really can't be on the light side.
So Lena Nielsen does get round in behind, but looking at the line, should be able to come down and move that red through.
するからちょっと重いからあってもいいかも
Yeah, she's probably just going to look for a hack weight, come around to tight guard.
Det er ikke så meget, som jeg troede, den ville.
Rizdal and Nielsen looking on.
Og det er ellers meget is.
I think if I was the Danes, I'd be a little concerned that this may be possibly their last end. If they give up 3 or 4 here, it really is curtains for them. Have they got this one past though? They haven't. They do spin another one down in.
Yeah, well, another lifeline to Denmark. And if Finn and Nielsen could ever draw one to the top of the 4-foot circle here, maybe a steal on the cards.
Kort er også okay. Så længe den ikke overkøler, ikke kommer ind i huset. Den skal ligge i top 4. Der er ikke så mange andre, der kan føre.
Top 4 Top 4
Yeah, I think you've got to be in with this one. You can't really run the risk of just throwing a guard.
Ja, vi hellere bare have garden. Nej, jeg kan godt lide det. Jeg synes bare, den ligger lidt som en enlig svale derinde. Ja. Helt alene. Jeg kan godt lide det. Kan jeg få et lille squeeze mindre? Det er meget vigtigt, at den ikke ligger pivåben. Samme fart eller lidt mindre?
Lidt mindre
Hvad klikkede du for?
93
0-0?
Ja
Linda Nielsen, 88% on 6 draws today. Lena really keeping Denmark alive this morning. She's been a bit of a one-man band, to be honest.
Yeah, she has. But you can only keep that going for so long.
Just touches the red, but good enough to lie to.
Yeah, just looking at this, I think Japan are electing to play the draw. I mean, there's a stick-on slash there. You've got to take that on for 3 or 4.
Oh, I don't think they even see it, Kenny. Yeah, just kind of hit that first red about thirds, maybe a third of a stone, and catch on the wide one. Could get as many as 4, I think.
Yeah, so that's maybe where Japan are a little bit weaker as some of the other nations that have been at World Championships so many times. They just don't see angles that the other experienced players do.
Yeah, you better believe the likes of Jennifer Jones or Eve Muirhead would be going after that slash double. Any sort of mistake here, you could give up a steal of 2, or even just a bad piece of luck. Looks like it's got plenty of running to get down there. Oh, no real panic. Nicely played there by Ogasawara. But maybe a missed opportunity there for a big score to kill the game. And another point on the board for Japan, now leading Denmark by 5 shots to 2.
Sorry, jeg troede, den var kortere.
Japan utterly dominant this morning against Denmark. Now leading by 5 shots to 2. Denmark skip Lena Nielsen pulling it out the fire on a couple of times to keep them alive in this game. They really need to start scoring some more points, and they don't have that much time to do it. 4 ends left in this game.
Hey, wow!
So
Okay, bare hold den lidt kørende så.
Charlotte
Der er
Clemenson.
meget langt herud. Skift. Skifte, for guds skyld, og træk.
Just
Og trække. Vi skal tættere på.
Again.
Vi skal tættere på.
going to put the guard up.
Ellers så dur den ikke. Okay, det er godt for. Okay, Lotte.
Fint, Lotte.
So it's really key for Japan not to get involved, and that's why they're throwing these stones into the house. But while that end is beginning to take shape, there's one game that's already finished. And that is Canada versus Norway. Canada 9-3 winners. And then over on sheet A, Sweden 12-4 winners over Finland.
Yeah, they'll be quite happy with that performance this morning. Canada and Sweden. They can go back to their beds for a little bit more rest before they do battle once more today.
Fint, Lotte. Skal Lotte. Fint.
So big weight takeout. And this really has been Onodera's speciality throughout the week.
Oh, just a fraction too thin. Nice attempt though. So the Danish team really need to step up over the next few ends and position their stones better to give Lena Nielsen a chance. Too often she's just been keeping them in it. She would love to have an opportunity to convert something, to get a multiple score on the board and get back into the game. Really has just been wave after wave of pressure coming from the Japanese.
Sæt dig. Sæt dig.
Godt, Steph.
Onodera sends another bullet down the ice and just pinches one off.
Vi har en mere. Ja.
Yeah, it's looking really difficult for Denmark to get anything even remotely going in this 7th end. Still having to throw corner guards.
2, 3. er rigtig, rigtig fin. Enten høj eller lav. Den må under ingen omstændighed stoppe her. Nej. Nej. Sæt dig.
Skal se. God fart.
More corner guards for Denmark. We're now on to third stones with Sayaka Yoshimura.
Removes the corner. At some point, you've got to think Denmark will need to use this other side, and that's exactly what they're going to do now.
Den skal i hvert fald fuld 12. Hjem-retning. Okay, I har pladsen. Der er plads.
Ellegaard also not having a great game this morning.
Oh, nice draw here, though. Doesn't need to stay in front of the tee line in this one. Just needs to out-count the one on the back line. So, Japan's still lying one, but the Japanese will be a little bit concerned with that red in behind the corner.
Yeah, so they just peel the guard off, and so great chance now for Denmark to maybe get two. Do you throw the guard, or do you move this one that's on the button?
Så du kan finde på at lægge garden?
Nej, ikke endnu. Jeg har ikke
They could probably throw another guard and just run another stone down.
Skyde? Ja, tag tortempet nu. Ja. Ikke alt for langt, så der er en dobbelt. Ja. Fin her. Ja.
Ja, på retningen. Det er hele vejen. Hold! Hold, Lala!
Choosing to play the takeout to lie two.
Nej.
Jams it up and rolls the reds together. So should be a reasonably straightforward double here. Good chance here for Agasawara. It looked like it was going to be a deuce for Denmark after a lovely come around, but slightly slack stone positioning there from Denmark has given this chance.
Yeah, the two reds are fairly close together, so you expect the skip to make a reasonable attempt at making the double. And I can't believe they missed that. They were up and down, all the way down.
Yeah, it seemed to be made. They were up and down with the brushes, and then to the last minute it takes a dive and they only get rid of one. Denmark definitely got off in one there.
I just heard the second red. Can't believe her luck.
Næsten vil være godt, hvis hun skal lave dobbelt, så kræver det, at hun ruller væk. Og en halv.
So that's really the first opportunity that Denmark have had since the first end. They've been fighting fire ever since. And Lena hits on the nose, but will leave another chance to make this double. Hopefully the Japanese skip reads their angles a little bit better this time. Just tried to get a little bit too cute with the last one.
So they do know the line with this one. And they're on it pretty early. This one really cutting hard. And again, just missed the back red. So Lena Nielsen, straightforward nose hit for 2.
Yeah, well, there was no shortage of swooping on that one. It's just a little bit tight away from Ayumi. Supers couldn't hold it straight enough to make the double. Now Lena Nielsen, an extremely clinical skip. You'd expect her to make this take out no problem. This sort of shot, just a formality at the top level for the best skips. Needing it to come down though. Needing it to come down. Will it set in time to score 2?
Oh, I don't think it has, Logan. I think it's only going to be a single point. She waits with bated breath. She's tapping one. Will we see the measure come out?
I think so. Yeah, measure. One for sure. And then measure. Yeah. One for sure. Yes.
Yeah, so they're just going to measure this one. So it's definitely one.
Oh, and that's one of the umpires, Colin Melrose from Scotland, making his way out to do the measure. Yesterday, of course, Kenny made a rare sight of a measure which was deemed to be equal and resulted in a blank end. Incorrectly, in our view.
Yeah, it was very, very close, but the umpire and the players decided it was to be a blank end, but
yeah, well, thankfully it wasn't too crucial a measure. I think Canada were very much going to win anyway, so who has it? It is yellow, and it's only going to be one. So Lena Nielsen, after me talking it up, makes a big mistake there, and Japan looked pretty relieved only to give up one. Very much in control, playing the 8th end. After 7, it's Japan 5, Denmark 3. You're watching live coverage of the ZEN-NOH World Women's Curling Championship 2015, live from the Sugisamu Gymnasium in Sapporo, Japan. Our featured game, Denmark and Japan. And Japan leading by 5 shots to 3. And they've very much had the best of the play, haven't they, Kenny?
Yeah, they sure have. Maybe just not capitalised on the poor play from Denmark. Denmark really struggling. Lennon Nielsen really a one-man band at the moment. Not getting much from our team. You've got a feel for the Danish skip out there. But Japan, they've been pretty good for their lead. You've got a feel if they can string a couple of good stones together, they would really finish this game off pretty quickly. Going for the tick shot, and that one just touches the barrier, nearly so close. 4 rock free guard zone here at the World Championship. So the first 4 stones, should they be short of the scoring area, cannot be removed from play.
Pretty tight game at lead position. Clemenson just narrowly being outplayed by Omiya there.
Er vi ned til?
Nej, ikke nu.
Så nej. Giv den lidt på retningen nu. Yep. Go hårdt. Go. Kælder det?
Okay, eller det.
Ja.
Two good center guards played. And Denmark are going to have to get their stealing boots on now. They would dearly love to steal here in the 8th end. So expect to see a very aggressive end played by them. Well, the Japanese crowd applaud in support of that stone, but it's not finished in a good spot at all for Japan. It's just slipped past the T-line and at the back of the button, and Denmark will try and freeze that. Rizdal has improved in the second half of this game, coming up to 48 from 28. But Onodera very much has her number today, playing 75.
Can't afford to catch the guard. Do miss the top one, but all over the second one.
Oh, that's a glorious opportunity missed.
It's difficult for Japan now. Do they come around again, or do they peel the guards? I think she's caught in mind. I think you just peel the guards and keep it safe.
100%, Kenny. It's a very straightforward call. You start peeling the guards, you open up the centre play, and you guarantee yourself a score here in the 8th end. If you go 3 or more up after 8 ends, there's almost no way back for the opposition. Good job by Onodera. Oh, starts to open things up.
Gør lige garden igen. Wow, et. Nå, I hvis I så vend lidt på retningen. Vend lidt, piger, den ser så okay langt ud. Nej. Curl up. Okay.
Yeah, so elsewhere, We're going to take a look at Scotland. They're 6-4 up on Russia, and Scotland really needing to win this one if they're going to make the playoffs. Eve Muirhead trying to run the guard back. Just misses the run back. Russia still won, but Scotland still leads 6-5 as they head into N9.
Yeah, 3-shot swing there. Surely if Eve Muirhead made that run back, it would have been pretty much game over. But just a one-shot game now. Onodera again doing a terrific job of opening things up, and even gets rid of the stone in the button as well. That's a terrific shot. No danger whatsoever now.
Tæt ved at skyde på. Hun fjerner den alligevel.
Yeah, she really has her eye in for those takeouts.
Tæt.
Ping, ping,
Den lidt
and
tight
ping.
på linje. Tæt. 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 Linje okay. Sikkert tæt. Sikkert tæt. Wow. Meget, meget fint. Godt set. Godt, Jenny.
Godt parret. Godt spillet.
Yeah, so off for the guard.
Jana Ellegaard, only 53%. It's been a bit of a horror show for the Danish middle order.
Helt tæt. Lige nu har jeg god plads på den. Helt herned. Godt, Jenny. Godt spillet.
Godt parret.
Yeah, just peel that one off. Certainly think it's Japan's strength when they actually are 2 or 3 ahead, and they keep things nice and tidy. And that's what we've seen the early part of the week. They just kept it really nice and clean and tidy till about ends 9 and 10, and just waited for a mistake from the opposition and capitalised on it.
Yeah, they do seem to be very good front runners. And yeah, I think there's no doubt that this kind of simple game is playing to their strengths. Anytime they do start to mix things up and get lots of stones in play, maybe they don't have quite as good an understanding as some of their teams of stone positioning. So they do tend to get themselves a little bit in trouble.
Kommer her.
Plads.
Ja.
Kommer der. God retning. 5 plads. God retning. 5. God retning. Kommer der. 5. God retning.
Hvis I kan på retningen.
Yep.
Åh.
Godt spillet, Lene. Godt spillet. Godt set.
Lovely draw by Lena Nielsen. Tucks one in behind the corner, but does drift past the tee line, and that will make the draw for Ayumi Ogasawara significantly easier. Pretty close matchup at 4th position. 73% for Lena Nielsen, so she's actually outplaying Ogasawara, but too often it's been in very difficult shots for very little reward for Lena Nielsen. Just not good enough setup play by her teammates. Oh, it's a little bit hot. It is, bounces off. So do you play the freeze or do you play the takeout, Kenny?
I think you've got to play the freeze, really. 3 down. You're really going to struggle. So you've got to go for a steal.
Vent lidt. Nej.
And yup. Whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And yup. Yup.
God fart.
And they do get past the guard and push the yellow through. Set 2. You just ignore the 2 reds and just throw the draw now. But they're actually going to draw up against the reds. There's actually more room just drawing the button.
Yeah, well, they have just played that line, so maybe they feel more comfortable about the speed in that spot. But they were a little bit heavy the last time. Any similar weight, and they may well give up a steal. So full concentration required here from the Japanese skip. Any sort of a miss here could tie the game up.
So that's the final stone of the 8th end.
Well, Yoshimura coming out to help. I think this looks okay though. Well, they went really wide on that one. They didn't give themselves too much to draw to at all there. But Japan looking dominant here. Japan now leading Denmark by 6 shots to 3. Ninth end underway here. Nice draw to the top of the forefoot. And here's another look at that final draw. Choosing to play it away from the centre line and giving herself a little bit less space to work with. But a good scrub gets it down there onto the tee line, and at the end of the day, there's no pictures on the scorecard. Doesn't matter how you get it done as long as you get it closest to the middle, and that's what Ayumi did there. Nice draw.
Yeah, so Denmark really do need to score a couple of points, and then 9 if they're going to have any chance of winning this game. If they do give up a single point, I think the game is gone.
Linje. Sikkert på linje. Ja. Jeg synes, det er langt ud. Lidt. Giv den lidt. Nej. Stop. Godt set. Godt, Lotte. Godt set.
Yeah, so it's really a decision of what side do you take the guards off. Generally, you would probably take the one that's swinging a little bit more. So peel the guard off, and Onodera really has got her sights set on that takeout part of her game. Really, really strong.
Hvis I kan på retningen. Ja, halvanden. 2. Det er igen lidt det samme. Lad være med at knap til dobblen. Så enten er vi helt deroppe, eller så er vi helt hernede. Go. Hårdt, Lotte, hårdt. Lidt nu. Go. Godt faret. God fart.
Yeah, so once more, they're just going to peel this off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great shot, just peeling that one off.
Denmark just persevering with the corner guard option. Really just running stones down in the moment, and even if they get a mistake out of Japan, that would be just a bonus, really. They really need the mistake. As Kenny said, really need to be scoring 2 to have any chance of staying in this game. Even then, it would be a tall order to overturn this 3-shot deficit. That's the stone that they're going for there. Just going to try and peel that one off.
Well, have they managed to get both of them?
Well, good shot there by Yoshimura.
holder den bare ret meget lige. Så længe vi er inde. Så længe vi er med. Lotte ind, Lotte ind, Lotte ind. Go, go, go.
So a slight chance if Denmark could get around this, but not getting fully buried. So you've got to expect Yoshimura should be able to see most of this hit and check to the center line.
Oh, going after the one in the house here. I would like to roll towards the center here. Well, they do roll towards the center, but almost side by side, and that could be used for a freeze at some stage.
Hvor ligger de? Kan man lægge sig ned overpå? Det får du ikke så meget ud af. De ligger sådan her. Prøv at komme herned, hvis du er i tvivl.
So both teams do have plenty of time, and Lena Nilsson's going to take some time over this one. You can see their clock in the background ticking away, 8 minutes 30, so they do have plenty of time. You would generally allow around about 3 minutes as a minimum for each end, operating by thinking time. Certainly need to spend some time thinking over this one.
Altså lige meget hvad bliver 10 meget simpelt. Time.
So they've called a timeout. Ulrich Schmidt, the coach, will make his way down to the bench.
Er han med, eller? Fordi man kunne godt gå
I actually think Ulrich might elect to try and push one of the yellows through and roll in behind the corner. Just at sort of hack weight. The other option would be to swing one right around to the back 8 foot, in behind them. But then Japan could just call your bluff and throw a guard.
Så skal man skyde på det nu. Der er rullet.
So the little clock ticking away there is what we call the walking time, and it is for the away end, so they get a little bit of extra time to get there.
Jeg ved ikke, om det bedste skud det er for bombet de to dernede bag.
It's to your advantage if your coach can get there a little bit more quickly. The actual time itself doesn't start until that walking time is over.
Jeg vil sige, den er ikke eksisterende lige nu.
I actually quite like the way that the Danes have called this timeout. They only have the skip in third. They don't have the lead and the second in there at all. Sometimes can get rather crowded in there with too many people putting their opinion forward. Just clear and decisive. The offers the coach and the two players.
Yeah, so that's actually just the timeout started now. 1 minute.
Tag den chance, der hedder, at de ligger garden. Det ligger måske ikke helt rigtigt, så kan der ligge en dobbelt ind over.
Så kun sekseren og kun til C-line, eller?
Yes. Eller bombe lidt og rulle over, eller bombe lige ned og sidde lige. Så er der flere forskellige muligheder, så du sidder foran.
Du kan ikke lige bombe ned bag 4 rullet hen over foran etteren?
Den er okay, det er bare et svært skud.
Det er bare at tænke, at hvis jeg kommer over foran den, og hun skyder på, der er en stor sandsynlighed for at få sin egen etter med, og så har jeg den nede bag T-line og fryse på.
Ja, men så skal du være perfekt kryds.
Ja, lige nu er alting svært, ikke?
Det er det. Og det er derfor, jeg tænker at skubbe den lidt. Så er der to at lege med. Hvis du skubber den ned, skal den kan med det ikke. Og hun skyder rigtig godt, ikke?
I quite like this call from Ulrich Schmidt. Just going to try and use the stones in the centre line, tap them around a little bit, get them a stone locked in there. The only problem with this kind of shot is that if you do play it well, then naturally the Japanese are just probably going to go and peel the corner guard. So it's not the easiest one to peel though. So let's see how this works out. Janet Ellegard, not had a good game. Needs a good stone here though.
Godt, Shanna.
Yeah, good shot. Should be reasonably easy to dispatch that red stone though. Just probably bumped it a stone too far. Great effort though.
Yeah, so sweepers really jumped on this one. Must be a little narrow. Oh, do catch the back one.
Yeah, does enough to get it out of there. I wonder if they should just ignore the yellow stone here and go around the corner guard. They absolutely have to get a multiple score on the board here.
So they're looking to maybe bump this back. Don't think that's the call, but Japan did the right thing. They made sure they kept that yellow stone on top of the button.
Lav frys i stedet for, Steff. Lidt mindre is. Du må hellere holde den fra start af. Er det top 4? Ja. Ikke mere normalt? Ja.
God fart. God retning. 4. Yep.
Lena Nielsen's final stone. Sorry, first stone of the ninth end. Just trying to bump this yellow back. Keep it in a kind of catching position for the red stone.
Rigtig god retning. Godt, Lene. Godt set. Meget han ryggen.
Yeah, it's a fairly straightforward peel now. I think you really did need to come around the corner and force Japan to chase you.
Yeah, and we've got a final score on sheet B. Scotland keeping their playoff hopes alive with a win over Russia. A big score of 4 in the fourth end, and then finishing the job off with a score of 3 in the ninth. Final score there, Scotland 9, Russia 5.
So a clean pick required. Just going to try and take this one over the face of the yellow. Have they caught enough of it? Oh, just do enough. And that one will trickle out of play.
Well, super shot to get it right across the top and leave their yellow there. I think their hearts were in their mouths for a second there.
Tror ikke, det er nemmere at stjæle 2 end det er at tage 3 på nuværende tidspunkt?
So the Danes are, do they take 1 and try and steal 2, or do you try and blank the end and take 3?
Certainly the discussion they're having at the moment. It's personal preference, really. They do generally say that if you're in to score 3, if you play a perfect end, then it only takes 1 miss, really.
Yeah, even that miss could be a nose and a guard. That's really what you're looking for.
Well, final stone in the ninth end, and just a controlled weight from Lena Nielsen would suggest that they're trying to hit and stick to score 1 here.
Yeah, so they do that, and now they're gap to 2, so they trail 6-4. You've got to feel that's not going to be enough at this stage in the game.
Ja, jeg tror også ikke,
So 10th end of this matchup here at the World Championship between Denmark and Japan.
Yeah, you're watching live coverage of the ZEN-NOH World Women's Curling Championship 2015 live from the Tsukisamu Gymnasium in Sapporo, Japan. Featured game this morning, Denmark and Japan. Japan leading by 6 shots to 4. Coming home with the hammer as well and looking good for putting their 5th win of the week on the board.
Yeah, quite a strong performance from Japan so far. They've really dictated the play. That's a nice shot. Pushing the red in. That means that with their second stone, they'll be able to play the takeout on it.
Meget fint, hold den der. Den er hurtigere end før, så skal den da ikke have. Jeg synes, det er fint ud. Bare giv den lidt. Yep. Yep. Kort linje. Hård forretning. Hård forretning. Godt forretning. Fint, Lotte. Godt spillet. Godt, Lotte.
I'm just going to ignore the red stone in play. They're just going to try and tick this one once again.
I think you can see a lot of people hit the open one in this situation. You don't want to have too many stones building up around the place. You don't want to be facing 3 stones, for example, with the last one of the ends. So doesn't manage to make the tick shot. There's a couple of different strategies to going about stealing 2 in a 10th end. Some teams do use the corner guard approach and keeping the guards well spread out, and as I say, try and get in that position where you're forcing the opposite skip to play against 3 on their last stone.
Hårdt på linjen, tøser. Super retning. Gå hårdt. Go! Fortsæt, Lotte. Go, go, go!
So I do have a couple of guards up, just off the centre, so the button is open, should Japan need it. Can Oradera give us one of the trademark run double peels? But only went for the peel across the face, didn't bother trying to push it back onto the other red. Just maybe trying to keep things simple, not overcomplicate it.
Absolutely, the peel should be one of the easiest shots in the book. If you make them all, you're going to win the game here. This is as simple as that. So they're just calling easy shots and making sure that they make them well.
Ja, den er sat lidt anderledes. Den kommer nok til at køre lidt længere. Okay, sådan 2. Ja, op. Retning er okay. Retning er god. Hvor er I? Halvanden. Okay, hvis I kan. Nej. Længden er nok vigtigere end retningen her. Det er rigtig fint spillet, Steff. Godt spillet, Steff. Godt set.
Deciding to go after the one in the house this time. Just eyeing her angles up.
Yeah, just peeling the guard off, though. Nothing too fancy.
'Linjen er plads. Hvis I kan vente lidt, må I gerne det. Ellers er det step ind. Det er step ind. Hun lige over. Hvis I kan. Steff, giv den lidt. Giv den
So
lidt.
at some point, Denmark are going to have to come in. And
Gardale, Gardini.
it's looking pretty ominous now for Denmark.
ここでいいよ。
こっちは
うん、一応狙うけど。シューターは絶対。
Terrific separation on the guards, though. It's giving them half a chance.
Yeah, they would all they need is a nose on this guard. Concentration needed.
Well, the Japanese playing a very accomplished
Så
10th
overvejer,
end.
hvis I går ind nu.
Ja, det tror jeg.
I think they may need to draw into the house here, Denmark.
Det er mere, hvis garden ikke ligger præcis, da hun får dem begge to.
Ja.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you've got to come around this guard, get something in. Japan would then
Hvor langt
peel
er
the
der?
guard,
Jeg
then
vil
you throw
gerne
another
have
one in,
fuld
and
4.
you force them to play against 3.
Plads.
8.
4.
8.
I må meget gerne vente.
8.
Meget, meget gerne vente.
Op 4.
Vente.
8.
Der er ingen retning. Op.
8.
Op. Kommer her. Steff ind. Og så giv dem gas nu. Knæk. Go, go, go. Hårdt, hårdt, hårdt. Lad det go, 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 go.
So the sweepers maybe just lost that one. Really needed to be right down, even if they were back of the forefoot.
So Japan are going to go after this shot stone. It could be a little bit dangerous. If they ever just touch that red stone at the bottom of the picture there and it goes flying straight by, I think the peel's probably the correct shot to play. There's even a little bit of an angle. They could run it across the face of the one in the house. I think it's a good call from the hack. I think this is the best call of all. They're calling a timeout. There's some really suspect options starting to get looked at, so Fujimiki will make his way down. There's no question that the shot to play here is the double peel on the centre line. I'm sure JD Lind might have just had a little word in Fujimiki's ear on the way to the ice. Make sure they do this. Well, they're looking at removing the correct stone now. As long as they get rid of that guard, I think they'll be just fine. So common sense has prevailed. And Ogasawara is going to ask for the peel on the center guard. And if they can get one of these, get this wide red out of there as well, that would be pretty much game. So if they did only manage to just get the one here, then there could be an option for Denmark to make Japan play against 3 with the last stone.
Yeah.
So they've got one. Have they got the wide one? Oh, they have not, and they've spun it back towards the center as well.
I have put both reds pretty close together though, so.
Yeah, I think they might need to try and separate them out a little bit, the Danes. It's too easy a double at the moment on those 2 reds.
Tror I, hun går rundt, hvis jeg lægger garden?
Nej.
Du vil gerne have garden?
Okay.
Eller jeg spørger, vil du have garden?
Ja, enten garden eller bombet. Jeg kan godt lide garden først.
Problemet med bomben er, at vi samler dem.
Ja, garden først.
So it looks like they're maybe throwing the guard.
Yeah, well, that's
Japan, maybe just a draw or a clean pick.
Well, you know, Kenny, if they throw the guard here, then Japan's just going to peel the guard off again, and then they're going to have about 2 feet worth of line to get stones out of the house. Like, it's a reasonably easy double take out there. So if they want to take that option away, I would prefer to see them playing in some sort of split and moving the stones around in the house to try and take the doubles away. We'll see how this works out for Lena Nielsen. Going with the guard.
Well, this one certainly not short for weight. Doesn't want to be too tight and leave an easy run in.
Up. Wow. That's it.
Well, perfect spot for the guard.
Yeah, it is. It's maybe a little bit too tight though. Still should be able to pick one of the reds if you're peeling that guard right back into them.
1個出したらさ、相手我慢しなきゃいけないでしょ。じゃあ叩きやすいよ。これに接してこれやられたらじゃあどっかでダブルしないと。2点スティールになるんだ。見える？
見える？そのくらい。右のやつは隙間もあるけど。
So both teams used their timeouts here, and I think they would maybe want another timeout right here, right now.
Yeah, but if they did call another timeout, I'm sure Fujimiki would come down and say exactly the same thing. The troublesome stone for them at the moment is the guard. And are they going after one of these reds in the house, I wonder? It's dangerous. A dangerous call from Japan here.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with this one. I think you just try and drive the guard back and pick the wide one. Just make sure and open it up with for your final stone. Maybe trying to win the game here.
Well, there's a lot of indecision now. The game's really slowed up in the last few minutes.
And now looking at the guard, certainly think this is the shot to play.
Yeah, 100% Kenny. Just hit that guard at the top of the screen on centre line side. You might even be able to pick the furthest left red in the house as well.
Yeah, the crowd has went really, really quiet here in the gymnasium. They sense the importance of this win.
I think they've got to the right call in the end here. So going after the one in the house would be absolute suicide here. Well, it's going to get one. Are they going to get two? Ooh, not quite. Still a good shot. So Denmark going to move things around a little bit this time and play a tap up on this top red.
Yeah, certainly. I think they need to move things because it's obviously a fairly easy double on the reds, the way they sit at the moment. You can't guard both of them.
Yeah, so just a nose tap, really. And then I guess Hawara will probably have her choice of doubles to play. It's been a well-worked end from Denmark, though.
Yeah, again, not short for weight. How's this one looking? Maybe just grab something. Took off. So a straightforward hit. And you can even catch it on the inside on the red.
Yeah, I just over-curled on them, maybe a little bit short of pace, but it's left them an almost unmissable last stone. Lena Nielsen knows it. That was a glorious chance to force Agasawara to play a tough last stone.
So final stone of this 10th end. Agasawara just looking for a nose hit.
Yeah, after 2 hours and 55 minutes of play, it's come down to this, and it's job done. A nice controlled weight there from Agasawara, and it will be a score of 1 for Japan in the 10th end. Make the final score, Japan 7, Denmark 4.
Yeah, really solid performance this morning from the Japanese team. Great support in here, cheering them along as well. Denmark just really struggled to get anything going, and it took them till the 10th end to really construct anything positive. So Agasawara making progress and looking like making the playoffs. There you see, big score of 2 in the third, a steal of 1 and 4. Really put Japan ahead of Denmark, and they never looked back. Seventh end, Lena Nielsen with a chance to score 2. Just needs a nose hit on the yellow. Throwing the out turn, control weight. This one never came down the hill. And Yoshimura just sweeps that one right out. And it was only a single point. 8th end. Denmark sitting 2 in behind the corner guard. So Ayumi Asogara trying to draw round. Swoopers had to work this one all the way down. And they made the 8 foot. They would score 1. 10th end. Ogasawara making a nose hit with her final stone to take the game 7-4. Elsewhere, Sweden 12-4 winners over Finland, Scotland 9-5 over Russia, and the dominant Canadians 9-3 winners over Norway. So a look at the standings now. Canada and Switzerland, they're topping the table with only 1 loss. Japan sitting there pretty, 5-3, along with Russia, Scotland and Sweden. They're going to be fighting out for the playoff stages. China and Germany still in with a slim hope of making the playoffs. But Denmark, Finland, United States and Norway, no chance of making the medals now.
Ayumi, congratulations. Were you happy with today's performance?
パフォーマンスについてハッピーですか？みんなよく投げてくれましたし、私も最後なんとか決めきれることができたので、みんなよく投げていたと思います。
Yes, I am. My teammate played very well, and I also got a good shot at the end, so I'm happy now.
You've played in 3 Olympic Games. How does this compare playing in your home city?
ホームシティでプレーすることについての感想をお聞かせください。
はい、また平日にもかかわらずたくさんの応援の方々や全国の方々がテレビで生放送で見ているので、やっぱりカーリングの醍醐味を伝えたいなという思いでプレーしているので、今日は最後の1投までわからない展開ができたので、面白いゲームになったんじゃないかなと思います。
I'm so happy, although in the weekdays we collect many spectators, and also this game is broadcasted live, so all over Japanese people can see the game. So and also today's game until the end we were not sure we were winning or not. So that means it was very exciting game. So I'm happy to show the Japanese people to the exciting game then.
Great, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So, winning skip Ayumi Osawagara, 7-4 winners over Lena Nielsen's Denmark. So that's it from draw 12 of the World Championships here in Sapporo, Japan. So from Logan Gray and myself, Kenny Edwards, thanks for listening.